Good evening. My name is Wanera Elliott, and this is assignment 7. Today I'll be interviewing Miss Charisma Baker. She is a individual with minor disabilities, and she is a pleasure. I've had the pleasure of knowing Charisma Baker for years, since she was 7 years old. Welcome, Miss Charisma Baker. Hello.
Hello.
I have a few questions, if you don't mind, and it's about being disabled and a few questions about those in your cohort or those in your population.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My first question is, how does it feel to have a disability?
Blessed.
And when you say blessed, you mean in what way?
Blessed to be alive. Blessed to be independent to where I don't have to constantly depend on help.
Okay, so obviously there's others who need help,
Mm-hmm.
and you're comparing yourself, and that's how you feel blessed. Explain to me in some ways how they're different from you.
They're different. I guess, like I said, there are some disabilities where, some are going through paths and they can't control their disabilities. Then there are some disabilities where they're able to speak, have a full sentence, and basically have a whole conversation with you without, making noises, about, just making anything hard for themselves to talk to you.
Okay, so they're not able to articulate themselves. They may make loud noises
Yes.
or
Yes. And
appear.
yes. Some may appear normal, but once you kind of get to know them and kind of get to know what their disability is and learn a little bit more about it, that's when you start to realize, okay, they may look normal, but they're not.
Okay. All right. So how does it feel when you're like the only one? Say for instance, you're around individuals who aren't on the level that you are, and it makes you a little bit more advanced. How does that make you feel? Besides blessed, does it make you feel sad for them, or do you help them, or
It's both. It makes you, I guess, it makes me feel sad that they have to go through that, but there's nothing I can do to stop that. All I can do for honestly is just I just help them out. I just make life a little easier because there's not a lot of people who are willing to help them because they're either scared or they don't want to, they don't want to disturb anything, trigger anything without, getting hit or yelled at.
okay. So have you ever felt like anyone was looking at you like you were different
No,
when you're alone in the crowd, if you're like the only one?
no.
Why do you think that is?
I guess because I kind of blend in, even though I haven't changed. And, that's been part of my life since I was a baby, I guess. So it's like, it's a part of my body, but that's not what people are looking at. They look at me as like a normal human being. I talk like a human being. I'm able to hold a conversation without having difficulties. And, I can kind of, blend in with everybody when it comes to having fun. And, not constantly having to depend on my grandma for help.
Okay. So when you say independent, that's like pretty much that's what makes you feel normal. That's what makes you feel like you're not disabled, that you are able, that you're fully capable of living a normal life. Okay. Okay, what event has taken place? Can you give me an example of something that has taken place where you've either felt ashamed or you had to be an advocate for someone?
I mean, I never felt ashamed for my disability. Like God put it in me for a reason. I can't control that. So I'm not ashamed of that. I guess I have advocate in a sort of way, like I just stand up for those who are not able to speak up for themselves.
Okay. I can remember one time that we were in the airport, and they have these medical services where if you get in the wheelchair, you can get ahead of the line, and we were late for the flight. And I said, Karishma, get in the wheelchair. And you didn't like that. Can you tell me why you didn't? Did it bring too much attention? What was going
I don't
on?
like being in a wheelchair. I don't like being independent. I don't like being unindependent. I like to walk. Unless my legs is hurting or I have hurt my leg, that's not in the wheelchair. But
So, do you feel like you were
I
ashamed?
wasn't ashamed. It's just that to be eyes on me like, why are you staring at me while I'm in the wheelchair?
So it wasn't because you were ashamed. You just know that you're independent and that you really didn't need the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so my next question is, what are some stereotypes that you know that are out there for individuals with disabilities?
I guess that they're retarded, slow. Sorry for using retarded, but yeah, they're retarded, slow.
Thank you for being sensitive for that word.
Don't know how to. They're not capable of doing things for themselves without somebody around to help them feed themselves, clean themselves. You know the normal stuff that people do on a daily basis.
So there are some people with disabilities that can be fully independent.
Yeah, there are some, but not everybody is fully educated. They just go by what everybody hear. Like you might hear a rumor about somebody who has a disability or has some type of disease, but they can't control it. That other person going to run with it and make it seem like, oh, that person is infected. That person can't do like us. And they just going to outcast everyone.
So has it ever been a time where you were in school where the parapro or the teacher would not let you do it yourself? They kind of.
Yep. Because like, they were not like no. Everybody knows that I'm very independent. I don't like
You
people
don't
help.
like the hand over
I don't
hand.
like being helped because that's just like no. So there have been parapros that have tried to help me, but I had to tell them like I'm independent. Even the teacher had to tell them because they wasn't listening to me. So once the teacher told them, that's like okay.
So did you look at that as a negative instead of
I
being
didn't look at that as a negative. I just say like maybe they're not used to somebody being
independent? And you just had to be a self advocate and let them know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So if you had a statement that you could make as an advocate for the population with disabilities, what would it be?
Sorry. It would be that be yourself.
Excuse me.
Don't let nobody stop you from being you. Um, you can do what you want to do if you really put your mind to it. But like, if you constantly listen to others say you can't do it, but you really can, that's gonna really put you in a tough spot where you're not gonna be able to live the life that you want to live.
Very good. Well, it's been a pleasure being with you from age 7 to now. I'm very proud of you, and you've blossomed into be a beautiful, independent young lady. Now it's your time to interview me. So you have a couple questions you have for me, right?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Welcome, Miss Wanda, who I
Thank,
call mommy sometimes.
thank you.
I will be asking you a few questions about your race.
Okay.
Okay. How does it feel? How does it feel living in America as an African American?
Well, it felt pretty good. I was very proud to be in the skin that I'm in until here recently with the former president Donald Trump. Donald Trump brought about sort of like a social unrest, and it came to the point where I even bought a firearm and went and got trained to use the firearm because I didn't feel safe as an African American. For the first time in my life, I felt that there was some type of oppression, and I had never been discriminated against, but I just didn't feel safe as a black person because a lot was going on, such as George Floyd and um, Ahmaud Arbery, just because of the color of their skin, they were getting killed. And then former President Trump made the statement, "Make America Great Again," and then there was the Proud Boys. So, yeah, that's a time where I didn't feel quite as safe and secure in being black or African American, but it is what it is. I still very much, I'm who I am, and I have to walk sort of like fearless in that, but now I feel like I have to be more cautious and more prepared because I feel like some people have um, like-mindedness, and it could be a problem for my safety.
Okay. How does it feel being the only black person in a group or a class as an African American?
Um, well, it's been an incident where I've been the only African American in a class, and I felt like I had to be a overachiever. I had to represent my race because I was kind of being looked at like I was destined to fail, or I had no right to be in that class, so to say, or something like that. I felt like, as being the only African American, that I would have to represent for my race.
Okay. What what event has taken place in the last 2 years that made you feel shameful or having to speak up for someone that's black, that's just black as you?
Well, here recently, when I went to Florida, we purchased an Airbnb, and I had guests over, and they were in the pool. And when they reached the pool, an older Caucasian guy was there, and he got out of the pool. And that immediately made me feel some kind of way, because probably because I'm in this class and I noticed the diversities now, but I didn't say anything. And a few minutes later, the ground manager came and asked us out of the pool, because she said each and every individual had to have a pass. And I just felt like it was discrimination, and I had to be an advocate for my guests. And I told her I paid money to be on the property, and that she was making my guests uncomfortable. And we refused to get out, but she made threats to call the owner and even to call the police.
Okay. Um, do you think maybe the gentleman was, before y'all got, you think the gentleman was probably already in the water for a little while and probably got tired of being in the water? So you think that when you saw the gentleman, the white male gentleman, leaving out the pool, you think, oh, he got out because y'all black. Maybe it might be because, he had been in there for a little while and probably just wanted to get out because he got tired of it.
It could have been, but there was a part B to it where the manager came.
Yeah.
And had it just been, okay, I'm tired, I want to get out of the pool, we wouldn't have been harassed and asked to get out of the pool. So I do believe that a call was made, and the manager came and made an issue about it. Now, she was just the ground managers. The condos were individually owned. So it's not like she had the authority to do anything, because we made a personal purchase from the private owner. But just her making my guests feel uncomfortable prompt me to be an advocate for them, and to let her know that I felt like she was discriminating against us because we were black.
Okay. What stereotype do you think people have about African Americans?
They think we're criminals, they think we're violent, they think we're lazy, they think we're always late, they think we're dumb, they think we're not well articulated, they think that we're savages and that we're a commodity, not human. Some people, I'm not going to say all people, it's just the way it is and has been for a very long time. And I do think media, the way they portray African Americans, has a lot to do with it.
Okay. Do you think if do you think 5 years from now? Do you think 5 years from now everything would change regarding race, regarding black people being called as thugs, Steve, all these names? Do you think that certain situations would change if I was?
I think we'll have progress. I see a lot of positive things as far as diversity going on right now in society, especially with Walt Disney. We have the Little Black Mermaid. We have Tiana, the Black Princess. We have a lot of people, Netflix. We have a lot of big companies that are doing well with diversity. So I think we will have progress. I think we're moving in the right direction, but it's been 400 years already. So in 5 years, I don't expect miracles, but I do think we're moving toward a positive um, place in life.
Okay. What statement would you like to make on the behalf of African American?
Keep moving on. Keep doing what we're doing. We're resilient. We are a strong race. We're dying, but at the same time, we're multiplying, and we're going to be okay. We're strong individuals. And I do think we need to respect that Black Lives Matter also. Even though white people are killing black people are killing black people too. And I also think that we've got a long way to go.
Yeah, but just a little bit. Not just white people killing black people. There are some Hispanic, there are other races killing black people as well. But we're being looked at as the, I guess, the race that caused problems for others, even though in certain cases that's not really the situation.
Right.
But it's always the narrative when it comes down to, okay, oh, my purse is missing. Oh, my phone is missing. This and that. It's always that one. It's always pointed at the black person.
Right. But there's always hope that things will get better.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for being a participant in this important event in my life. And I'd like to say I'm very proud of you. You did well. I love it.